With or without a seatbelt, the blind spot remains a serious danger despite an improved mirror sight. In the blind spot, cars, bicyclists or pedestrians can easily be overseen, often with disastrous consequences known by every truck driver. The lane change assistant watches the area the truck is going to drive into as soon as the driver indicates. If a car or a cyclist happens to be within this area, the system gives the driver an acoustic and a visual warning signal.
When the driver wants to turn right and there is a vehicle in the blind spot on the right side, the driver gets an acoustic and visual warning signal.
This system could prevent nearly every 10th accident.
It's difficult to really see if you have cars or other traffic on your close side, and especially towards the area of the front right wheel. There's an area there that it's not completely blind, but it's difficult to see. There is a radar that fires up sideways, looks at that area and sees if there is a car or an object there. It will then trigger an alarm inside the truck to help and support the driver.
When it comes to safety, these experts are operating day and night, the staff of accident research. They analyze accidents and draw conclusions for design and further development. Since 1969, the researchers have analyzed more than 1,500 accidents and installed a large database that is often used to improve safety.
It's probably something when parking or something like that, they've hit something that was sticking out like that. Now, looking at that, we then can go into the computer on the truck, and look at data there and see if we can understand further what actually has happened.
If possible, the researchers also work with truck drivers who survived a serious accident. Yngve Johansson donated blood before going to work 6 months ago, with disastrous consequences.
I felt really bad. Then I fainted and my truck crashed into a bridge pier. The cab was separated from the chassis and was catapulted onto the other side of the road. Then a car drove into the cab. I found myself with a car tire in my face.
Johansson talks about everything that happened in detail. The experts evaluate it to eventually develop further assistance systems.
We heard about this accident and immediately we then send one of our accident research teams down there. The perfect thing to hear now is that we could also ask the driver, we could ask Yngve exactly what happened, and he could explain and tell us. And this is an invaluable input to our research and future products.
Johansson was in rehab for 6 months after the accident and had to learn how to walk again and how to move his arms. Nevertheless, a few months later, the father of 2 children was behind the wheel again. He felt safe after the positive outcome and doesn't want to stop driving trucks.
The crash caused my cervical to be fractured, meaning a broken neck. Later on, my doctor told me that normally only 40% of the people who have this kind of injury survive such an accident. I think of it every day, and I am endlessly thankful that I'm still alive.
In order to avoid accidents, the haulage contractors and drivers regularly test the new trucks in detail. The trucks are available for the guests in all varieties, including a driving instructor to explain all the new features.
The new trucks have so many new safety systems, and they have many new components in the truck, so some of them is skeptic in the beginning.
Guests come from all parts of Europe to Gothenburg to test the new trucks. A few are skeptical at first due to the many assistance systems.
The first reaction is, wow, so many new things, but it just takes some laps here, a few laps, and then you recognize the system. After a while, they love just a new truck.
Efficiency, safety, automation and networking changed the mobility in all branches of the industry. This can also clearly be seen in the field of logistics, where the growing parcel market demands new solutions along the entire supply chain to meet the increasing demand or increasing pressure due to rising costs. Digitalization and intelligently planned tours make new and highly individual delivery concepts possible. The intense network and automation of systems and functions can considerably promote the efficiency and safety of processes at company depots and reloading hubs. In the past, collisions often led to expensive damage to vehicles, or even a breakdown, and therefore needlessly prolonged the loading and unloading procedure. Starting point for this is a concept that was already introduced in 2014, which made it possible to maneuver a long truck by tablet. Nowadays, the person who operates the tablet just has to trigger or maintain the automatic steering process. The truck and the depot are connected to the autonomous steering function Safe Range. Stationary cameras capture the truck in question, which has only been marked with a target on its rear end. Sudden obstructions will be recognized by the system, whereupon unnecessary accidents will be avoided. A computer that is installed at the depot calculates and transmits the data via wireless LAN to the onboard unit in the truck. At this point, the vehicle control system takes over and leads the truck accurately and safely to the ramp. The engineers test the wind resistance of the new Colossus in this futuristic hall. It is relevant for safety that the truck really is aerodynamically sound. The wind tunnel is situated in Canada. Due to the large fan, more wind can easily be produced than in standard facilities.
The base of low or improved aerodynamics is to have flat surfaces, no gaps and so on in the surface, but it's not always optimal from a design perspective. So designers would like to have something, and from an aerodynamic perspective, they would like to have something else. So it's an optimization between those two areas.
The researchers in Sweden use another wind tunnel in order to simulate extreme climate situations on European roads. Wind speeds of up to 90 kilometers an hour, as well as heat of up to 55 degrees Celsius. The experts arranged for about 50 tests for the development of the new Volvo FH alone. In all, a testing period of more than 2 years.
We are doing this kind of test to avoid any risk for causing accidents out on the field or for our customers. We have this rig where we can simulate extreme conditions, the most extreme conditions you could find out on the fields, out up in the hills or whatever conditions you have. You can simulate that here in this test chamber.
The truck has to run through extreme situations in reality as well, on bumpy roads in Queensland, South Australia. Down under, the researchers check on the driving behavior and maneuverability at extreme temperatures of more than 40 degrees Celsius and on miserable road conditions. In this area, there are 40 degrees Celsius as well, but minus 40 degrees Celsius on the winter testing area in Kiruna, North Sweden. The drivers use the test vehicles as if they were their own trucks. They sleep in the cabin and check if the truck starts up straight away after a freezing night. Every truck runs 20,000 kilometers minimum under these freezing conditions.
If we are talking about summer expeditions, we are driving in hills and trying to various conditions with different moisture, different heating and so on. And trying to press the vehicles to find if there is any errors.
The producers of this video could not afford to make any mistakes.
Hello, my name is Claes Nilsson, president of Volvo Trucks. I've learned that when you want to make a YouTube hit, you need a hook at the beginning of the film. And here it is. This is a hook from the new Volvo FMX. Made of cast iron, and it holds up to 32 tons. That's far more than this, so you don't need to worry. In fact, you don't need to worry about anything. The new Volvo FMX is the most robust truck we've ever made.
More than once did Nilsson ask himself what he was getting himself into, just to prove to the world how loadable the towing device of this construction site truck really is. It's so loadable, he trusts it with his life.
That was okay. Survived. That was good. That was good. Yeah, no problem. The wind and the cold. It was nice.
No other truck producer has done anything similar so far. Noise can be a potential cause for accidents as well. Furthermore, it can make people sick. In this sound cabin, all noises are recorded with super sensitive microphones. The researchers want to know how noisy trucks are, for example for residents that live next to busy streets. They also decode the noises coming from the truck itself that can be heard in the cabin and which could distract the driver while cruising.
The focus on the noise inside is to reduce the noise level for the driver so he can be focused on driving.
Permanent and overloading noise is pure stress, and stress causes accidents. With the support of thick protective insulation, aerodynamic design and new mufflers, noises can be reduced. Fatal injuries are not uncommon when it comes to rear-end collisions, partly caused by inadequate underride guards. In the event of an impact with a truck, the passenger of this car wouldn't stand a chance to survive. He would be impaled.
The underride guard systems must get more solid. Only this way can the car passengers be better protected.
If a frontal crash with a car happens, the underride guard of the truck will have to minimize the consequences of the accident as much as possible.
The car and the truck are not meeting each other fully. And as you see here, the car is slightly outside the truck, which means that 25% of the car does not hit the truck. And this is a normal, unfortunately normal situation where you have a frontal collision.
14 high-speed cameras are used while an accident test takes place. Even here, where elaborate crashes are caused regularly, everyone is still on the edge.
Yeah, I think you're always a little nervous here when you do some true testing like this and hope that everything is going to work as we expect it to do.
In this test, the truck drives with 35 kilometers an hour, the car with 55. Afterwards, a lot of work is still left for the scientists to analyze. The underride guard in the front primarily serves the purpose of saving the car driver in case of a collision with the truck. In comparison to the old guard, the new one distorts itself twice as much and works like an additional nose.
The chances are great the driver will definitely survive this. It's a massive impact, and you've seen here that the whole engine compartment is being pushed together here, and you would think that it's been pushed inside the car itself. But if you look inside here, you will see that yes, it has been pushed a little in here. There might be some injuries to the legs of the driver, but apart from that, you're intact. It's fantastic that you can actually survive a crash at this speed.
The Swedish scientists are currently working on systems to prevent frontal crashes of cars and trucks. Here, it's about how a truck driver reacts if a car comes towards him. How do test persons react to the truck's different warning signals? There's an acoustic one, a haptic and a visual one, a so-called heads-up system.
Additionally, there is a warning signal. If the driver doesn't react to it at first, the truck will brake a little, and in case of an emergency, it will brake fully until the truck comes to a standstill.
32 test persons passed a simulation test. After the analysis, another testing area is used, and only after that it is tested on the streets.
When you're in a truck, it's a very safe place, and even if you have a collision with a car, you know, as a truck driver, it doesn't really hurt you or damage you in that way, more than psychologically. Therefore, it's very important for us to make sure that we take care of the car drivers, because they are the ones that really get the most hurt in an accident with a larger vehicle.
The innovative truck's consumption is lower too. The Volvo can be equipped with cruise control, which can retrieve basic information topographically and, through doing so, save diesel fuel while driving. The so-called IC system saves up to 5%.
The IC2 is a very smart system to save fuel, where the truck itself looks at the road and the topography of the road, where it's going up and down, and it will then record the road. It will then also send this to a cloud, so when the next truck comes along that has this system, they can download it from the cloud, and then this truck will know exactly how to climb the hill in the most fuel efficient way.
Almost exactly 1 year after its introduction on the market, the new Volvo FH model was voted International Truck of the Year 2014 by leading utility vehicle journalists. It has therefore been the third time that the Volvo FH was the International Truck of the Year. The model was already awarded with this title in 1994 and 2000. Claes Nilsson accepted the award during the festivities of the Comtrans Fair in Moscow. These days you can't have motorsport without Hightech. Via long-distance control, innumerable data are checked by the technicians, an important part of race tactics. One example, perfect timing for a pit stop. Technology like this is part of the new truck too. Workshops can check the state of the vehicle via long-distance control. With the telematic gateway, wastage or situations are checked and the error codes are picked out via the GSM net. The shop can control component parts continuously, which guarantees ideal maintenance intervals.
Today, when we service a truck, we estimate a planned driving conditions. But then the customer may use it more and drive in the more heavy conditions. Now we can actually read out the real usage from the truck, so we can service the truck when it's really necessary.
Modern mobility minimizes breakdowns, provides higher reliability, and lowers the administrative expenses of the carrier. And if a truck is driven any other way than planned, maintenance intervals can be changed appropriately. Brake linings, for example. Abraded parts are changed in time so they don't fail when the vehicle drives long distances.
And this we see a great opportunity in the future. Today we have a few parameters, but in the future that will become more and more. So more or less everything that you can do today in the workshop, you can do it remotely. The purpose of this is to give more uptime to our customer.
From Volvo Trucks' point of view, the mechanic is always on the road with the truck in case problems occur. Volvo engages itself in another special vehicle network too. Every participant follows the head vehicle automatically after docking. Via camera and radar, trucks and cars are controlled. Exchange of data happens via radio. The network imitates the leader, so to speak, speeds up, hits the brakes and therefore steers in the same way. Here, 4 cars are following the truck with a distance of only 6 meters at a speed of 85 kilometers an hour during a successful test.
I think what we will be seeing in the future is that we will be getting smarter vehicles. So we will be using more of the telematics. Vehicles will start to talk to each other. They'll be starting to talk to the infrastructure. They will get information. If one truck has passed a road and it's a little slippery, the truck will itself identify that and send that data to the next truck that's coming along.
Not only accident researchers, but designers too are constantly thinking about what the truck of the future should look like. Generally speaking, appearance is important, but the safety of the driver always has priority.
Safety, of course, is going to be more and more important in the future. I think there will be less and less acceptance of dangerous trucks on the road as it gets more congested. Visibility for the driver is, of course, the critical part to make sure that the driver has a good overview of the road.
Hightech will also help to make the growing traffic safer in the future. But man, the #1 safety risk remains. The responsibility still lies with the driver.